Either we're perfectionists, or we're idiots, or this just isn't that simple.
Do it.
This is the day we leave the boatyard.
We're finally out of here.
Last time on Sailing Soulianis, we finally got to knock off a bunch of items on our project list.
Alternator upgrade. Boom! Replace engine zincs. Done. Rebuild prop and add zinc. Done. Bottom paint. Done.
Woo!
Everything else we can do underway.
Yeah.
We've got 2 weeks to completely figure out how to construct, sew, and install a bimini. Show us the color that we got.
It's probably kind of hard to see.
Yeah, it pretty much just looks white.
Yeah, well that's white.
Yeah.
Its
We ordered
technical
silver.
name is silver. It's pretty true to its actual color.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so excited to put it up. There's so many colors from Sunbrella to choose from, and we wanted something that was lighter than our navy blue that we have on our Binnacle and on our Dodger, because it just gets so hot in the sun. We didn't want a cream color. We didn't want a brown tone. We wanted something, I don't know. We wanted something less like old school nautical looking. But we still wanted something that sort of went with the blue because we don't want to replace all that stuff because it's in perfect condition.
They make it so you can make it really wide. They're 6 foot wide.
Okay.
And then the legs are the hockey sticks.
Okay. So that's the hardware, or the bowware.
Oh.
So this giant bag of bits and bobs, oh my gosh. Straps and little, like, what are these things? Like, what? We watched a little bit of the video. We're not like prepared yet to do this, but definitely looking at all the stuff and knowing that we have to put this all together into a bimini is...
And we have to know what each part is.
slightly overwhelming. Alright, let's see what's in here. This is all the templating material, and then inside, not happening.
Well, that's all right.
Look at that. That's pretty.
So the other option is you put it on the deck, right?
Yep. We still have access to the bench.
We looked all over for somebody to make us a bimini. We decided to do it ourselves because we got all the time in the world.
With every single boat project, any of the ones that we thought, well, let's try to get some professional help. Maybe we want an electrician, maybe we want a welder. It's never really worked out very well. Except one time we had a welder fix a tiny little hairline fracture in our spreader.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job.
Every other boat project, it seems like if we would have just done the project ourselves, we would have saved more money and we would have been happier.
And we would have learned a new skill.
Yeah, and we would have learned a new skill.
Every time. Hold on, this has only been like three times we've thought of it. So
because usually we know we're going to do the project ourselves anyways. We put it on the stern rail, basically part forward.
So we've just started. Last night we hashed out all the requirements that we need, the spread, the width, the height, the length. And that would be high enough, I think.
Yeah.
And I also think it would be far enough forward.
Okay, what do we got going on here?
We think this is roughly how the front leg of our bimini is going to be.
It only took us about 2 hours to get here. So. But the important part is that it looks like it's about the right height for Kirk to walk underneath. Also, we've been considering the idea that maybe eventually we might want to have something that will connect the Dodger to the bimini. And so to make sure that the boom doesn't hit that potential piece, that angle also looks good.
We kind of got the first bow in, and we've just mocked that up by tying it off to our backstay, and now we're trying to kind of mock up where the back bow goes. And we're trying to do something a little bit different in that we're trying to make the bimini so it's a little bit wider at the bow end and than it is at the stern. So we're just trying to not have this beautiful stern end of our boat with a just square
bimini top. I think our boat tapers so much in the stern. We were hoping to follow the lines of the boat. The hardest part so far of building this bimini frame was the first bow. I mean, that one's the trickiest because you're starting fresh in this three-dimensional space, and to try to figure out where you actually want the bow to be suspended, it can be a little bit difficult trying to hold the two hockey stick sides and the middle crown piece
Not to mention, we also had to consider the placement of 4 flexible solar panels we wanted to mount, which needed to fit in between the bows and around a plexiglass viewing window we wanted to integrate into the bimini so we could see the masthead.
And then making the first cut is a little scary because you're hoping that it's not too short. If anything, you want it to be too long, but then you gotta hack it off again if it's too long. But yeah, we got the first one made, and now the second one's pretty easy because it's supposed to be just 3 inches shorter than the primary bow. So that 3 inches is where the secondary bow is going to mount.
On your hole.
Do you want a hand?
Maybe.
How do we have here? It's a little longer. Whoa! Something scared him.
Missing my trait.
I was gonna say you look like Moses with a staff, maybe.
We're cutting it off, it doesn't matter.
We'd be in the tent of crap.
Yeah, but there's way less crap in here now than there was before. I am marking 15 inches off of each side of this bimini bow so that we keep the crown the same in the middle. And that's going to take a total of 30 inches off of this, leaving us with a 76-inch width to our back bow of our bimini.
Is there any trick to cutting stainless steel tubing with a hacksaw?
No. Just go slow in the beginning. Have a saw that isn't missing 2 teeth in the middle.
Alright, love, what is happening?
Here's what we've got here. We want to make this a little more like this.
So we want to put a curve in it. We want to put
a little
an
more
arc
of a curve.
And what is this? This is
This is a pipe bender. Oh, this is our bimini bow.
our back one, right?
Yeah.
The front one actually has an arc in it because we're bending the legs in.
Yeah, it puts an arc into it.
Yeah.
This one, the legs are actually kind of going out, so it tries to flatten it. So in addition to bending this a little bit, we're actually going to take the hockey stick, and you're going to hold one end, and I'm going to hold one end, and we're going to try and pull against it.
Oh, we're doing that too.
Unbend it a tiny bit. We'll see. I don't know if we're going to have enough force to do that, because this is pretty solid stuff. So I did a little test piece here to just kind of figure out how this thing works. I just sort of put kinks into it a little bit instead of making it all nice and smooth. So I think I've kind of figured out what I need to do to fix that. We don't even want to do too much. But basically what happens is I'm going to roll this back and forth.
Can put more and more pressure on it.
Yep.
So this is our middle bow, and we haven't bent it at all yet. So we're using it to compare the back bow. It looks like you're at the helm.
Of a really strange ship. I dig it. It looks pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, looks nice.
Alright, let's go try it.
Okay.
See what happens.
I'm wondering if it has more arc than our Dodger now.
No. Because what's going to happen is the 2 straight pieces are going to try and bend it back again.
Yeah. Nice. Perfect.
Freaking perfect. So, let's try and bend those a little bit, and then we'll take the front one off and maybe give that a tiny bend.
Kirk came up with a really good idea to bend out the leg, or the hockey stick part of the bow. We were able to use the pipe bender for the top piece, the crown, but since these are already bent, and we're actually trying to bend them back more straight, we had to figure out some other way.
Nope.
feel the same as last one?
Yeah.
And it looks pretty damn close.
Alright, let's give that a go. I know this isn't the right way to do this. We're only going 5 degrees or so. Let's check it out.
Wow, that looks great. I am such a slow mover in the morning. We'll wake up like 7:30, lay in bed for an hour, read, and then finally get out of the van and get up to the boat, and I start making some breakfast. And Kirk's usually ready to go. I mean, once he's out of bed, which takes him a little while, he's like ready to get going on projects. And I'm like, wait a second, I gotta make breakfast. Alright, so I'm gonna make egg burritos this morning for breakfast. I just made us both some matcha tea, which I used a ground up matcha powder with turmeric and ginger, I think, in it as well. So we made it with hot water, some milk, and a little bit of honey, and it tastes like a matcha latte. It's so good. Hello, love.
Hi. You filming?
Yep.
Sorry.
I didn't want to interrupt what you were doing and make you come up here, and I just started filming myself, which is a little bit harder, but it only takes one of us.
This is the truth.
How's it going down there?
Alright, so today we get to make these bows permanent. I am drilling out and about to rivet the bows together so the 3 pieces become one. Alright, I've never riveted anything in my life, so here goes nothing.
Are we ready? Smells hot.
Question is, are you ready?
I don't know. It's taking me like an hour to make this. So. Yeah, I think I'm ready. What's the verdict?
It looks badass.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to make it go like such. Ever so slightly. Just a tiny bit that way. It ain't gonna happen.
I think we're becoming neurotic perfectionists.
Yeah, but to an extent it's good. Because it's our own boat and nobody's gonna care about it like we do.
What do we have here?
We got our
Brand new boot
boot
stripe. Nice.
It sucks because up close you can see the line of our
The copper.
copper. I didn't realize it was going to be that thick when we painted it.
Yeah.
Oh. Now I've done it once and I know how to do it again. So that's what this is all about, is learning and doing it better the next time. Because pretty much every project I've done on this boat, no, I don't even have to say pretty much. Every single project I've done on this boat has been the first time I've done a project of that type.
Mm-hmm.
So with a little bit of experience now, I should be able to do everything a little bit faster and a little bit better, which is pretty freaking cool.
And I'm just going to keep following you and tripping over everything that we have.
The obstacle course that we made.
I don't know. It looks pretty darn good right now, actually.
Yeah, this side doesn't look good. It's just this part. What do you think so far?
Either we're perfectionists to a fault,
Or we're idiots?
or we're idiots, or this just isn't that simple.
Maybe a little bit of both?
Yeah, it could be all three.
All right.
We just spent, I don't know, the last hour and a half, like
Second guessing
ourselves, retensioning, like measuring probably, I don't know, 60 times. All right, but we're calling it. This is it. This is how it's gonna be. So right now our main concern is that our intermediate bow seems to be almost at the same level as the primary or the front bow, and it's supposed to be like 2 inches higher.
And why is that?
Well, because there's supposed to be a tiny bit of a rise in the middle of the bimini, so that.
Why is it lower?
Oh, why is it lower? Well, because we had to tape this to the back bow, because when we were trying to put the template on the front bow and the intermediate bow, it just kept pulling up because there was nothing holding it back. So it was just, I don't know. We're stuck between a rock and a hard place. We're trying to do it right, and it seems like we can only do it wrong. This is the day. This is the day we leave the boatyard. When we first got here, we thought it was gonna be like a month. And then we got here and we're like, no, it's gonna be 2 months. And in the last month, we've pushed it back a full month. And we have not got done anywhere near what we wanted to get done. But, you know, you're always ambitious with boat projects. But we got done what we needed to get done. Everything below the waterline is good. And we got a few other things done, so. And we had to fix our fuel tank. Kirk and his parents have been working like mad to buff the hull this morning. And I've been readying the boat, making sure nothing's going to slide around because things are just set out as if it's a house. But now the sucker's going to move. So we had to make sure nothing was going to fall and break. It's been quite a week. As usual, we're down to the wire. We're actually supposed to be trailered over to the other yard where we're going to hang in the slings for the weekend about 15 minutes ago. And I think they see us working hard trying to get everything done, so they're giving us a little extra cushion.
Everything good?
Yeah, so.
All right. Good. We're finally out of here.
We leave the boatyard, we go to another boatyard, and that's fun. And then we splash on Monday.
We're going to do the centerboard over the weekend, and
That's it. Whatever.
we got all the buffing done. We
Yeah.
got all the waxing done, so
The bimini didn't
the
get
centerboard
finished,
and the bimini.
but we'll finish that when we can.
that thing's fugly.
Yeah, it is. Dang, look at that.
It's our first sale!
Ew!